Hey, it's Nikki and welcome to my channel. I just want to start out this video by saying that I have had several technical difficulties while trying to record this voiceover, so please just bear with me if I sound like my throat hurts or anything like that, because it kind of does. This is about the fifth time I've had to do this, so wish me luck on this one. So, this is the house for Norah, the sim that I made in my previous video, which was also my first video. If you haven't watched it, please go check it out. I have planned all of these houses for my save file based off of floor plans that I have found. And I have every single floor plan picked out for Willow Creek and several other worlds at this point. There's just a few left that I need to do, but definitely have them all picked out for Willow Creek. So I had a theme picked out for Willow Creek for each neighborhood, where this particular neighborhood, all of the houses would have colorful siding and nice porches. I feel like one of the things that stands out to me about Willow Creek is pretty much every house has a really nice porch. I feel like that's just one of the things about Willow Creek. So I wanted to go with that a little bit in this neighborhood, and every house will have a really nice porch on it. Um, it just so happens that I did this house in blue because Nora's color was blue. And every house in this neighborhood will be a different color. I'm going to continue to use that siding just because I believe it's the only one other than the one that has a red swatch in the catalog when you look at it. I think the colors in that one are a little bit too bright, and the colors in this swatch, the swatches in this particular siding tend to be more muted. So I'll be using this one a lot for every house in this neighborhood. I also have uploaded this shell to the gallery, and I say shell loosely because it's not just the walls, the floors, the wallpaper, the doors, and the windows, as well as the roof, technically, were uploaded to the gallery. My gallery ID is Hey It's Nikki 10, just in case you want to go download this shell. The reason that I only did the shell is because I use a lot of CC when I'm decorating, and I feel like generally when people scroll through the gallery, they don't click include custom content because some people don't play with it, and it's unlikely that you have exactly the same custom content that someone else has. Um, so that's why I'm going to be uploading just the shells. I did include in the description the CC that I used in the shell. In this one, it's the flooring, the wallpaper, the fireplace, which I don't think I included in the description. I'll go and check what that was and put it in the comments for this video. So if you want to download this shell, you can know where I got the fireplace if you want the fireplace. Um, and then the windows and the doors, at least some of them, are considered custom content because even though they are the seasons pack, I have Peacemaker's expanded build mode set for the seasons doors and windows, so it technically pops up as custom content. I use the Peacemaker expanded build mode sets a lot. The Strangerville one is my favorite, and then the seasons one's a very close second. It just makes it so that the windows and doors that already come with the packs come in a lot more sizes. They keep the exact same shape and style to them, but they just come in more sizes, so they'll be shorter and taller, as well as wider. So you get pretty much every option available in the swatches that they already have. So, if you want to get those Peacemakers, I believe you can find some of Peacemaker stuff on the Sims resource, but it's mostly on their blog, and I can link the blog in the description of this video if you would like that as well. Now I've moved on to landscaping, which is not my strongest suit. I am not very good at landscaping. It's one of the things that I hope to work on while I'm doing my speed builds. I used to download houses from the Sims resource when I played in The Sims 3. I would download already made houses and then just change the decorations inside. So if there was landscaping, I just left it because I'm really not that great at landscaping. So I'm hoping that's just one of the things that I will get better at with this process is doing landscaping. You'll notice I put down a few bushes, and in the back there's some more of those long bushes and a tree. I definitely want to get better at it. I feel like at this point I've gotten pretty good at building, decently good anyway. And I still would like to get better at that. It's another thing that I hope to get out of doing the YouTube channel is just getting better at every aspect of The Sims. Gameplay wise, though, I'll eventually put up a gameplay series. I have one that I'm working on currently. I'm doing the houses for it, which I'm not going to put up speed builds for them because they're taking me a really long time to do. Because I'm in school as well. All my schooling is online. It's a school that's not in the state where I am. So with school and then doing the YouTube, and I'm also doing Korean lessons with Duolingo on my phone. I feel like I just don't have enough time for everything that I want to do. So it's taking me a while to build those houses. I'm building at least two, and then I'll probably build a few more just for people that I want to have in the worlds. I also don't have those worlds yet. I don't have those packs. So when I have bought those packs, I will make sure that I start recording that gameplay series. And it's just two Sims that I've been playing with for a while. I kind of aged them backwards and made them into teenagers, and I'll be playing with them and kind of going through their life and everything. But I'll explain more about that later. So in the backyard, I put some little planter boxes and her easel because she is a painter, so I wanted to make sure that she had that easel. I put the planter boxes just because if I do plan on playing with her at some point, not sure that I will, um, the gardening skill is just a nice skill to have because you can earn money from it, but it also makes making food cheaper because if you have the products, it costs less to make the dish. So I thought that was just a nice thing to include. So now I'm starting on the living room. One thing that did happen while I was editing, the original editing program that I had just decided to stop working. It force closed itself a few times and then eventually it just wouldn't open. My computer decided that that program was just not something that it liked, so I don't even have that program anymore. And I started using a new program. And so I've had to edit half of this video, the first half of this video, twice now. And one thing that I noticed while I was editing was I noticed all the little things that I did that I wouldn't normally do. And I don't know if it's just because I was nervous because this is my first speed build. Um, but I'm hoping that that's also something that I'll learn while doing this. It's just the little things, I call them mistakes, but I don't think they're really mistakes. Just little things that I did that I wish I would have done differently. One of the things is the rug in the living room. I just don't feel like it goes with the rest of the room. It's a really pretty rug. I just wish it was bigger, and that the blue was a slightly different shade. I just feel like it wasn't the best choice. And again, it was probably just because I was nervous because this was my first speed build. Another thing that I noticed while I was editing was that certain things I will use a lot in decorating, and one of them is those curtains. I use those curtains a lot. I really like them. They come in a lot of swatches, so they can fit in pretty much any room. But the other thing that I like about them is that they come in 4 different widths, in 4 different heights. So they'll come in 1 tile, 2 tile, 3 tile, and 4 tile wide. And then in those widths, they will come with counter height, small wall height, medium wall height, and tall wall height. So no matter what size house you're working on, you can pretty much find a curtain that will work, and they're all solid colors, so they're not like crazy patterns that stick out or anything like that. So that's something that you'll see me use a lot. I use them in the dining room as well, on those tall windows in that like slightly rounded bump out that I made. Um, on these little bookshelves here in a second, you'll see me put these tiny little plants on them, and all those plants down there in that row, all those little small ones, I use those a lot, so you'll see me use them. You'll see me use specific rugs a lot. I use a lot of rugs. I use specific paintings a lot, just because, again, they come in a lot of swatches. Specific mirrors you'll see me use a lot. I feel like mirrors are a hard thing to come by in The Sims. With the mirrors that actually come with the game, you can move them up the wall, but you can't move them further down the wall, so some of them sit weird. But with CC mirrors, because you can't size up a mirror, it messes up graphically. If you've ever tried to size up or down a mirror, you know what I mean. Um, so sometimes it's really hard to find a good mirror because they're too small or too big. Um, so I tend to use mirrors, but only when absolutely necessary, or if I have a specific mirror in mind, because they're just hard to place in where you want them to go. But you'll see me, yeah, use a lot of clutter, a lot of wall art, a lot of wall decorations, things like that, just because it makes a space feel less empty. Plants too. See me use a lot of plants because they make the room seem less empty. But plants, I feel like, also make a house look more lived in, like it's a real house. I personally don't have a lot of plants just because I can't keep plants alive. But if these plants were all fake, definitely I would have a lot of plants in my house. And so now I am moving on to the kitchen. The kitchen I tried to keep relatively neutral in color. Sometimes I go with really loud kitchens, like I'll use colored cabinets and such, and I just didn't really want to do that in here because I knew that I would be using a lot of colors elsewhere. So most of the color that you see in the kitchen will come from clutter that I put on the counters. And I held myself back with clutter in this kitchen. Normally, I would have all of those countertops covered in stuff, and the shelves that I put up would just be completely covered, and stuff would just be everywhere. So I tried to hold back a little bit on this, one, for time, but two, just because it's just a habit I'm trying to break myself of. You'll notice that I'm putting things on the floor right now. That's the clutter things that I'll be using in the kitchen. I tend to just go through all the decor items, all the clutter and the miscellaneous decorations, and pick out things that I would like to use in the kitchen and just put them on the floor. And I do this in other rooms too. I'll do it in the laundry room here in a few minutes. And then once I start putting them on the counters or the walls or wherever, I'll know what I have room for and what I don't have room for. And then some things won't make it and some things will. I tend to always have a kettle. Um, I usually put it on the stove. I tend to always have that dish soap with the sponge item. I use that a lot. And the paper towels, not necessarily that paper towel, but I tend to always use paper towels in the kitchen, as well as books. Usually those books, they don't have any writing on them, so I pretend that they're cookbooks. It's just another thing to make the kitchen look slightly more realistic. I use a lot of books in decorating. Um, this picture that I'm putting up here, I use this a lot. Um, Sometimes it seems out of place because it seems a little bit too realistic for The Sims. I just think it's a cute little piece and it comes in two different, there's a large one and then a smaller one. I use them all the time. This table that I'm using is one of my favorites. There's also one that comes in a bunch of different marble swatches, and I absolutely love it. It's a really good size. You can fit 6 to 8 chairs at it comfortably. I tend to use 6 at most, but it's a really nice table and it's got that glass top on it, and I really like it. I use it a lot. I'm about to put down the other plant that you will see me use hundreds of times in my builds because it's kind of the perfect plant. It's tall and it's not super wide. I feel like the tall plants in this game either are really skinny and they just don't take up a whole lot of room, or they're just too wide. The leaves will clip through the walls too much, and then the plant, to make it fit, you have to move it too far out in the room, and then what's the point in having it? So I really like that plant, and you'll see me use it a lot. Now I've moved on to the laundry room. This washer and dryer are not functional. They are purely decorative. I don't have the laundry day pack right now, but it's in the list of the packs that I will be buying next. There was a laundry room in the floor plan for this house, and I wanted to keep it because I think if I had left it out, the bathroom would have been too big or the dining room would have been too big. I just wasn't sure what I would do with the space otherwise. So I ended up using the laundry room and just putting down this decorative washer and dryer. And then on the other side of the room, I do a small home office. I like to always put a computer in a build no matter what. I feel like a computer is a really nice object to have, and with the CC computers that I have, they aren't necessarily really expensive. Um, it's just a nice item to have because it ups your fun need really quickly. But also, I tend to do my Sims whims a lot. And so sometimes a whim will be like play so many video games or donate to an online charity, just things that I can do on a computer really easily. So I tend to always have a computer, and sometimes it's necessary for a job. With her job, she's a painter. I'm pretty sure that a computer is not needed for that at all, but it's just nice to have, so I made sure to include one in the build. Um, that room is just a small little room, mostly just going to be used for her office because that washer and dryer is purely decorative. And now we move on to her bathroom. I really like decorating bathrooms, and I feel like I'm in the minority on that because bathrooms are a necessary evil. I feel like they're needed, but there's not a whole lot of bathroom stuff in the game, which is why I like having the CC because you can personalize the bathrooms a little bit more. Uh, I use a lot of little clutter items in the bathroom, like hand towels and bath towels, soap dispensers and toothbrush holders on the sink and things like that, just little things. I have a couple of little like rolls of toilet paper that are decor. It's just like you have extra toilet paper in your bathroom, and I use them a lot. There's one that I use in here. Um, so I just like doing bathrooms because it's just another way to personalize someone's area of the house. If there's only one bathroom, like there is in this one, it's just her bathroom. Um, if it's like a two bedroom, two bathroom, and each person has their own bathroom, then like you can kind of just customize that bathroom to be their bathroom, and that's the only bathroom they use if you're doing gameplay. I know a lot of people just like to build. And it seems silly. It's just one of the things I like to do. I just like to build bathrooms. I like to do kitchens for that same reason. I like to personalize them with all the little clutter items. And that's one of the reasons I really like CC is you can personalize a build a lot with CC, a lot more than I feel like you can do with the items that come with the game. So it's just one of my things. This is another thing is the walk-in closets. I have these tall wardrobe pieces that are just a tile wide, and they come in a few different swatches, so you can kind of, no matter what kind of house you're building, you can find a swatch that fits because there's just a few wood ones and then there's a black and a white. I know walk-in closets aren't definitely aren't necessary for a Sims build. I just like them. Um, and this one's pretty small for what I normally do. Um, I just like doing them, and I put that little poof in there, and I tend to put little poofs in all the walk-in closets that I do in gameplay. I know it's generally just another place that they go to sit to read, or they'll make their food and then they'll go sit in their walk-in closet and eat, which doesn't make any sense, but I don't try to figure out how Sims work. Um, I just think it's a nice little touch. And now we are on the bedroom, which is the last room of the house that I decorate. I tried to keep going with the blue theme with her blanket. This room didn't turn out exactly the way that I wanted it to. I feel like because there wasn't a whole lot for her to do, she had the painting skill and I think maybe logic. And I put the chess table on the front porch and I put the easel out back. So there wasn't really much to put in her bedroom. So I kind of tried to do just the normal bedroom things. Obviously, the bed, the side tables. I put like lamps on the side tables and I put a couple plants in there. And from there, I wasn't really exactly sure what else to put in there because I didn't want to put unnecessary items in there. So I kind of just decorated a little bit more. There's a couple bookcases in there. I put a couple of these floor vases that are really cute, but again, really no point to them. They're just decoration. The one thing that I wish I had done was the door to the bedroom. I wish I had put it coming from the living room instead of coming from the dining room because it doesn't really make sense flow wise for you to have to walk through the living room, through the kitchen, through the dining room to get to the bedroom. Luckily, it's a small enough house that it's not that big of a deal, but I wish I had put it on that wall where I'm putting a mirror now. It would have made more sense, and I could have done some other things in terms of decorating. But again, that's just another one of those little mistakes that I noticed while I was editing that I wish I had done differently. And I'm not sure if it was like that on the original floor plan or not. I don't remember. But again, just one of those little mistakes I made. And we are coming up on the end of the video now. The screenshots will be starting any second. So I just want to say thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the speed build. And again, you can download the shell from the gallery. So have a nice day.